Even before Thursday's Hawaii Island Burial Council meeting began, attendees and council members at the Na'alehu Community Center were already bickering.
Oh my gosh. I'm from Ka'u. I'm from Ka'u. Then will I have more sense than they do?
Tensions were high as a number of residents with deep roots in Ka'u were upset that they had not been consulted on a draft burial treatment plan for nearby lands, currently in use as prized coffee farms.
The property owner leases land to farmers, and they're also selling parcels to farmers. And I don't think they have a plan to develop, but they do want to be able to sell these properties, and I think they're doing a re-subdivision to give some of these properties, sell them to the farmers. There is a burial site on the property, and so part of the state regulations requires them to prepare a burial treatment plan.
The meeting was off to a late start because a few members had accompanied the landowner and their archaeologist on a site visit.
We did. We published in, let's see, it was actually November of 2016 was the first.
Over a year.
It's been over a year. So the burial treatment plan has to have preservation treatments that will protect the burial site in perpetuity. So that involves consultation with cultural and lineal descendants. So we publish notices, we reach out to the community, we consult with them, and they help us determine, with the help of the landowner, proper preservation treatments for the burial itself. And so it's kind of a long process, and we'll go to Burial Council several times and get input from different folks. So that's the purpose today, to hear from people and to make this burial treatment plan the best that it can be. And the responses we got a response from Auntie Paulette Kelikini, who I think her grandfather had land up here, or great-grandfather, and also Keone Fox, whose family is from this area.
Some of the initial concerns I had was access. They didn't have any kind of fencing or anything to mark out the buffer area. I think they were going to just plant tea leaves. Maybe it was something that was just in there from a previous plan. But so we talked about fencing. I asked for a larger buffer area. Originally it was just 20 feet. I didn't think that was appropriate, so we asked for a larger buffer area. And there was also a cave that is right next to the burial caves, which is considered a cultural site. And one of the original correspondence with SHPE was that they be preserved as a whole. So a lot of the more recent plans talk about preserving the cultural landscape. We don't want to, cookie cutter all of our different culture sites. We protect them as a whole, and that really maintains the integrity. And we had another burial council meeting just last month. I had some additional concerns. There was some concerns from a couple of the burial council members about the preservation measures. And at that time, I asked if we could have the next meeting here in Ka'u, and if we could also have a site visit to let those burial council members kind of see what the condition was of the burial caves and how they may be protected now in their current state.
Whatever EV is in that cave should be covered. No, you guys like them open. What is the reason? Okay? What is the reason? And the buffer also. What is the reason for a cheap-ass hog wire? Our people deserve more. Our people deserve better.
Then how come you never give me a call, Kiki? How come you never give me a call, Uncle Fred? Our family did well with your family from the time you were small and the time I was small. And you know that.
Polly Kapu Dedman, who was there for the beginning of the burial council process, wanted to be heard.
Since 1987, when we started this, 86, you could buy property in Hawaii and own the EV. That's what the problem was. Get off the airplane, buy a piece of property, you own my tutu. That's what we couldn't understand.
I was concerned about bones being found at Mo'ula, which is right next door to where I live, and came to the Burial Council to become and make a claim of lineal descendant. And as a lineal descendant representing my family and their families, that we want that Evie to be buried, covered, not open to the public, It should be documented so we know it's there. The people buying the property should have full disclosure of what's there so they know it's there and protect it forever. I'm here to make that statement. The Borough Council is sort of really dysfunction by having a lot of people sit in these positions out of favors. A lot of them are not from the area. A lot of them are transplants from Oahu. The Borough Council should be really run by the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. There's a big conflict with being run by the state. You have the archaeologist who's telling the Borough Council how they should think, what they should do, and it's the state again. That's a big, strong conflict. And the Iwis are not like other departments, like aquatics and forestry. These are all bones. These are ancestors' bones, and they should be respected and taken care of properly. And if a lineal descendant comes forward, then that should be their kuleana, their issue. And that should be theirs alone. Being part of the founders of this whole Borough Council, I know exactly how it got started and the problems in it. I was on the first Borough Council. So I saw there was a lot of problems with the archaeologist who's not a Hawaiian tradition or a Hawaiian profession. You know, that's Maho'oi, that archaeology. And anthropology is Niele. I mean, they're both Western ideals and ways that they've been using on other indigenous people, and it hasn't helped them in their ways in life and social situations. So how's it going to help me? I think we already know how it is to be colonialized and being controlled by non-Hawaiians, and the Hawaiians themselves become conditioned to accept that. And now I get representation that I see from Hawaiians that sound very Western. And the traditional things about the iwi, you know, the burial treatment plan. The Hawaiians had a burial treatment as when they were put in. We don't need one after that, and we don't need no foreign ideals to tell us how that should be.
Why are you telling the Hawaiian how to deal with their own iwi? That's an emotional issue. That's an issue that should always be respected, and you should always allow the Hawaiian to exhaust himself on this emotional issue all the time. If you cannot tolerate one Hawaiian and his emotions, I ask you not to sit on that council. And if you don't have any integrity, that you don't even come from that district, why do you even speak about that iwi? When you know these people live, hunt, and fish on that Apua in that area for hundreds of years.
The people on the Borough Council should be spiritual people in traditions. The Christians, they got Christian Hawaiians that, hey, they dig up and move barrels all day long. So that kind of mentality should, or some justification or qualifications to sit on a Borough Council, should have some kind of highlight on who and what your perspectives are before you get that position.
I am part of a kia'i, that we are trying to get these notices out. So Kanaka Maoli, especially from Ka'u, we are, and I count myself because I am a lineal descendant from Ka'u, to keep it Ka'u culturally preserved, and for our mo'opuna and so on, will learn and continue, because it will hold. And Ka'u, from this island, from any island, because I have ohana in every island, this district will continue to be preserved, and our people will fight to keep it.
No action was taken by the council since the plan is still in draft form.